What's up, guys? It's Luke Beller with the Sideline Scoop, and today we got a playoff prediction video. With those wildcard games now being over, we now know who the Packers are playing, and as you guys probably already know, we are playing the Los Angeles Rams. And coming into this week, personally, I was thinking that we could end up facing the Buccaneers, just because I thought the Seahawks would beat the Rams. They didn't beat the Rams, obviously, and I thought that the Bears wouldn't be able to beat the Saints, which they weren't able to beat the Saints. And so with the Rams beating the Seahawks 30-20, we're going to be facing off against the Rams at home in Lambeau Field. And so it's going to be a cold one Saturday afternoon. I think I saw the weather report. Someone tweeted it out. They said it's going to be like high 20s, maybe like mid-teens. So it's going to be a pretty cold game. And first off, you got to remember, these guys are from Los Angeles, where, the weather's pretty nice. I actually lived over there for a while ago, back in the day. And, the weather's nice there. It's not cold at all. And so, first off, these guys are coming to Lambeau Field where it's cold. It's going to be very cold. So when we take a look at both of these teams, I think there's lots of different things that are going to be super exciting to watch coming up on Saturday. And the biggest thing, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers and the number one scoring offense in the NFL, currently averaging 31.8 points per game. It's a whole lot of points. Versus the number one Rams scoring defense, and they are only allowing 18.6 points per game. And so we have Aaron Rodgers probably, going to win MVP, playing out of his mind this entire season. This Packers offense being able to move the ball at will against most teams, coming up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. So it's going to be an exciting matchup to see and to watch, to sort of see how it all goes down. One of the biggest matchups, I'd say, we got Davante Adams facing off against Jalen Ramsey. Both guys, potentially you could say they're the best at their position. Of course, there's lots of, people's opinions. But they're two of, it's probably at least top two, top three at their position. So they're going to be duking it out against each other. We got Davante Adams this season, been balling out, 115 receptions, 1,374 yards, and 18 touchdowns. And then we got Jalen Ramsey, who shut down pretty much every receiver this entire season. He, getting all-pro this year, as well as Davante Adams. So it's going to be a great matchup. And if we take a look at last week, sort of what Jalen Ramsey did versus the Seahawks. So he held DK Metcalf, who's a great receiver, to 3 receptions and 33 yards. And in 3 entire games that he's played this season against Metcalf, because the Rams faced the Seahawks 3 times this year, he held him to 4 receptions for 44 yards in all 3 games this season. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jalen Ramsey can, hold Davante Adams in check or not. Honestly, who knows what's going to happen in this game. But if, Davante Adams is a little bit more covered up than usual, I'd assume guys like Allen Lazard, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Robert Tonyan to, get some more looks in this game. And lots of people like to say the Packers have no weapons outside of Davante Adams. Lots of people who aren't Packers fans. But as we've seen, these guys have, showed up this season. At times, Marcus Valdes-Scantling looks really good. He gets open a lot, it seems, but he doesn't catch it all the time. But still, he has some good games. We have Allen Lazard, who's maybe been a little quieter in the receiving area, but he's been a good blocker as well. And I think that, who knows, maybe this could be a game where Allen Lazard really breaks out if Davante Adams is a little bit more covered up than usual, which you would assume would happen just because Jalen Ramsey is so good. So maybe Allen Lazard could have a big day in this game. And then sort of the next big thing to look at is this Rams defensive line versus this Packers offensive line. So the Rams ranked second in the NFL with 53 sacks this season. And then obviously the biggest guy on this Rams defense, we got Aaron Donald, who has been a monster this season. He's been a monster for years and years. This year he has 13.5 sacks, 45 tackles, 20 tackles for loss, and 4 forced fumbles. And he injured himself during that Seahawks game, but apparently came out this morning. It was suffered torn rib cartilage. Sounds pretty painful if you ask me, but he's going to be expected to play in this game. So I'm guessing, he's like, there's nothing going to stop me from playing in a playoff game versus the Green Bay Packers. So it's going to be a tough test for this Packers offensive line, especially with no David Bakhtiari. But we've seen this Packers line hold up pretty good without David Bakhtiari this season, lastly versus the Bears. But obviously this is a completely different opponent, a very, very good defense, probably the best defense the Packers have faced the entire season. And so it's going to be up to guys like Elton Jenkins, Corey Linsley, Lucas Patrick, whoever is in that interior of the line to hold up and, hold back Aaron Donald from stopping the run, from getting to Aaron Rodgers. Because obviously we need Aaron Rodgers to be secure back there so he can throw some passes to our receivers. So it's going to be a great matchup to watch the entire game. I'm excited to watch. I bet you guys are excited as well. And then one other guy on their defense who's really good, we got edge linebacker Leonard Floyd. They brought him in this offseason. So far this season, he has 10.5 sacks. So there's just so many good players on this Rams defense, obviously with them being the #1 scoring defense. So it's definitely going to be interesting to watch to see if Aaron Rodgers can pick apart this insanely good Rams defense the way he's picked apart lots of defenses this season, or if, they're going to be able to shut him down. It's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great test for both sides of the ball on the Packers offense and the Rams defense. And then the next part to look at is this Rams offense. So far this season, they're 20th in points per game, averaging 23.6 points per game. And then they are 13th in yards per game, facing up against a Packers defense who is 14th in points allowed per game, averaging 23.1, and 8th in yards allowed, averaging 334 yards per game. So right now we don't know who's going to be starting at quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously they have Wolford as well as Jared Goff. Jared Goff having that thumb injury. Wolford starts in last game, gets banged up during that game, and so they have to bring in Jared Goff. And in that game, if we take a look at Jared Goff's stats, he went 9 for 19, 155 yards, and 1 touchdown. So not a great game from him. I can't imagine trying to play with that thumb injury. And so now with Wolford seeming like he's not too banged up, he seems like he could be able to play. I think he's day-to-day coming into the game. Sean McVay hasn't said who is going to start, so who knows who we're going to be facing when it comes to the Rams quarterback. But then I would say the biggest part of this Rams offense, especially what we saw last week versus the Seattle Seahawks, is Cam Akers. He had a great game, 28 carries, 131 yards, averaging 4.7 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. And so it's going to be a good test for this Packers defense. And we've seen the Packers defense improve, especially when it comes to stopping the run. When we faced off against Derrick Henry, we held him to like 98 yards. So a pretty good game from that Packers defense against a very explosive Derrick Henry who ran for 2,000 yards. And so it's going to be interesting to see, can the Rams get the running game going, or are the Packers going to be able to stand up and sort of hold this Rams offense in check? And so my score prediction for this game is going to be Packers 27, Rams 14. I think the Packers are going to win this game, even though it's going to be a good battle, good test for this Packers team. But I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below, your guys' score prediction down below. And I'm going to break this game down a little bit more throughout the rest of the week. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'll also put out some injury news, that kind of stuff as well. So I can't wait for this game on Saturday. It's going to be a good one. I bet you guys are excited as well. But that's going to be all for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.